Ruby and Louise are looking in stunned silence. Ruby puts her hand to her mouth and says softly, Louise. He's adorable. He looks up, his face nearly scarlet with so much blushing. Louise has a strange expression on her face. She says softly, Mother, I never imagined. He has to see, no one will even recognize him. Ruby said to Louise, from now on it's her. He watches them talk, confused. He looks pale-skinned. What they are calling him? Her. Missy. His new name. Suddenly, he wonders if he'll ever escape. But how? He lived on his own. His parents were dead. He had nothing. Ruby helps Perry off the bed. He is taken over to the mirror. He blushes, as the women show him his reflection in the mirror. What he sees couldn't have been more shocking. The reflection looking back was perhaps the most adorable girl dressed as a baby he had personally ever seen. He was totally stunned. He was dizzy in the head with all that was happening. Ruby says, okay, here's the rules. This is the last adult conversation you will have for a very long time. He listens to her, hearing everything. Ruby continues, you will be baby from now until Louise decides to let you go. He looks up at her, wanting to talk. She continues, you are not allowed to walk. He tries to talk. He at least wants to see things on an even level with her. He has an apartment, bills, and belongings after all. She continues, babies don't speak. So you are not allowed to talk either. He whimpers. He wants to talk badly, but the parkie prevents him. She finishes, your only alternative is jail. He sighs, tears forming in his eyes. Ruby shows the new baby Missy her reflection in a full-length mirror. Ruby whispers softly in Missy's ear, I have to admit, if I didn't know you were a boy. He blushes, looking in the mirror as she whispers to him, tears rolling down his face. Louise says softly, he is. I mean she is so cute, and gives Missy a hug. He blushes as he is hugged. The sun is setting outside, and the younger ones, Abby, 2 and Katie 10 are at a sleepover. Tears are still coming down. Ruby says okay baby, this is the last adult conversation you will have for a long, long time, so make what you say mean something. She unbuckles the strap and removes the parkie. He nods. Blushing, he looks at the two women. I don't want to go to jail. But I have an apartment, and a job. I'm responsible for them. Ruby says sternly, you are not responsible at all, this is why you are a baby now. You need someone to take care of you and make sure you don't get into trouble. He sighs, nodding. Then what do I do about them? I can't just leave them. Someone will wonder where I've gone. His only hope. If people think he's been kidnapped. Louise says, I know a boy who is wanting an apartment, Tommy. He'll be glad to take over the rent and payments until. Or if Perry ever returns. He sighs and nods. The next moment, he finds Louise going through his pants and coming up with his wallet. And apartment keys. He has no identification. Aside from the apartment, no one will miss him. Ruby says, about your job. He then recalls. My job. Ruby continues, you will write a letter explaining that you have to leave town asking for a leave of absence for an undetermined amount of time. He sighs, nodding. Such a letter had already been written and was in his pockets. He was going on vacation, and was on his way to deliver the letter when he stopped at Louise's. He had the faintest of hopes she wouldn't find it. Louise says cool, look mommy, he already has one written. Perry gasps. She's found his letter. Ruby leans over and kisses Missy tenderly, then says, see? You are a good baby. He blushes again. His fate is now sealed. Ruby says, back to the rules. You are the baby in the house, which means my youngest daughter is older than you, she's only 2. Understood? They have authority over you and will help in taking care of you. If you make a mistake, and I know you will make many at first, baby will be spanked for being naughty. They will be real spankings, so don't think you are getting off light. Now, what more have you to say, Sweetum? He tries to think, knowing they will be his last words. Until they let him talk again. Can I apologize for what I've done? He looks around. I know I've been bad. And I don't see how I can be let out of this. I'm sorry anyway. Ruby says softly as she hugs Missy, it's okay, sweetie. Mommy will ensure baby is well taken care of. Ruby says to Louise, go downstairs and call your friend. Tell him he can move in today. Make sure Mr. Tatum gets that letter. I'm sure he will keep this job should Perry ever come back from vacation.